All right, it's time for us to get a little nerdy. Chris Abel is here. Talk nerdy to me, buddy. It's time
All
for us to
right.
dig into it.
Yeah. So I'm happy to say that a school here in Ontario is a first. Fletcher Creek Senior Public School is the first school that's going to use virtual reality as part of their shop class. So the first set of grade eighters have gone in, and before they get to touch any of the machines, before they use a lathe to make their first center hole punch, before they use a drill press to create a piece of wood, turn it into a wall clock, they're going to have to first put on some virtual reality headsets and spend the first set of weeks learning to live in a virtual machine shop where it's safe now to turn on all the machines and see what is a good setting and what is a bad setting, and how to learn to do things like the safety dance and the different steps, how to make sure that you get into the ritual of putting on your safety glasses before you actually start up those machines. I think this is a fantastic idea. So this is the first school that is doing this. It's just wonderful. I'm so happy that it's a school here in Ontario that's the first one to do it. If it works out really well, then other schools are going to be doing it across the country as well.
Did you do shop class?
I didn't. I grew up in a shop, so my father's machine and woodworking shop is something that at a very young age I spent growing up in there, and as a result, I had a very healthy sense of respectful attitude towards these dead machines that could kill you in an instant. So, when I finally did go to shop class in school in grade eight, I was terrified of the fact that I had to go into this place with all these horrible machines with all these goofballs that I'm going to school with.
Oh,
Like,
interesting.
anytime somebody would fire up a lathe, I'm like taking 20 steps out of the classroom because I know just how deadly dangerous it is. And traditionally, I'm speaking of my age here. Traditionally, the safety course would be just noticing that your teacher is missing a few fingers or has
Yes,
to have an eye patch.
it's
That was
true.
always sort of the thing. Like the teacher would say, if you don't want this to happen to your fingers, then you need to have these gloves or you need to put on these glasses. That kind of was the safety course. So I'm happy that we finally have something that's a little more robust and sophisticated than that.
Yeah, that is absolutely true. Mr. Bain was my shop teacher. I did make a wood clock, by the way. We also did, and then we got to silk screen T-shirts. That was also cool about shop class. And I did a Fido Dido T-shirt. How's that for dating myself? It's a
Well,
long time
traveling
ago.
around with my father, he had fun in that anytime he would take me to another shop owned by another company or owned by another people, he taught me that when you go in to scan the walls and the ceilings and look for little objects that are embedded in there. We went
Oh,
into one
funny.
shop and it was like 8 inches of bar stock that was stuck out of the ceiling. And he would point out, clearly they weren't paying attention to their safety measures. That just how, he would tell me, you don't have to be standing next to somebody when they make a mistake. You can be on the other side of the
Yeah,
room
because stuff goes
and the
flying.
machines will take you out. So
Yeah.
I always had learned from him. And so in my travels as a tech journalist, and I go to visit these companies, I'm always looking at the walls and the ceilings for any kind of indication of just how safe a shop is. A safe shop should have nice, clean, smooth ceilings. An unsafe shop, you should see all sorts of
That's
telltale
crazy, eh?
marks that there
The,
was
the, the
something
the
that was
ceiling of all
embedded up
things.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty great. Chris Abel, KRISABEL.com, and Real Chris Abel on the socials if you want to get connected with Chris. Maybe he should be doing a shop safety program himself. That would be pretty good too. Okay, animatronics. We've seen sort of the giant dinosaurs that are in the zoos and all those
Yeah.
ones. Those are cool. We're getting more of them though.
We are. Well, finally, it has happened. I know a lot of people have been wishing for it, but there is a zoo in the United States, a traveling zoo. They call themselves the Smart Zoo. There's no live animals. The entire experience is completely made up of animatronic animals. Everything is packed into a truck. They say they visit a new city every day of the year. They go from one city to the next, and then they unpack all the animatronics. And they have pandas, they got lions, they got tigers, they've got all sorts of animals. The advantage, of course, is that because these aren't real animals, it can occupy a very small space. So you're talking about, say, a parking lot. You don't have to worry about the predators being set next to the prey and then animals sort of eating each other. They're all animatronic for that reason. They describe it as being hyper realistic. The Smart Zoo, I would say, is not hyper realistic. These are animatronics. They're good ones, much like you might see at a theme park, Disney World or someplace like that, but they're not that convincing. There is some repetitive motion and things like that. Plus, this is put on not by an educational company. This is put on by a cookie company.
Oh,
And so the fee to get in, you don't buy a ticket, you simply buy a cookie. And if you bought a cookie, then you can come in and check out the animatronic animals.
okay. I didn't have Cookie Company on my list. There, it's pretty good stuff. Okay, more technology. The robots. You have a robot-ish story for us.
I do. So it has been tradition over the years as people have been developing robots is to try to get them to play soccer. And so there have been years and years of little square bots that kind of look like Star Wars droids trying to push balls around and get them into nets. This is the first year that where you finally have it proper. In South Korea, they had a proper 11 humanoid robots playing against a team of another 11 humanoid robots. They're short though, so it does tend to look like kids. They're about the half the size of a person. But I was kind of dubious about it. I've seen video of it. It is amazingly how entertaining it really is, because these little humanoid robots that have good reflexes, they're very fast, individual personalities, and they do coordinate with each other. So you end up getting those incredible moments like you do with real sports with, oh, he just missed the goal. Come on, you can do it. So I'm actually surprised at just how entertaining it is. I didn't think it would be, but here we are. There may be an opportunity to actually have matches where you go and watch humanoid robots play sports.
Oh, that's interesting. I've always wondered that about football, American football, is that with concussions and all the things that go on today, at what point, because now they've changed a lot of the technology around the helmets, that's making a big difference. Same thing with hockey, like it's had a massive impact on some of the gear things. But when does the day come? You know, like the robot battle things, like
Yes.
the little ones that fight each other. When does an American football team full on with like torches and like annihilate each other come in a game in robots?
Yeah, I know. Well, there have been attempts to do the version of Rock'em Sock'em robots, of having two robots fight to sort of make it like UFC or boxing. And what I've seen so far, it doesn't really kind of work. It's sort of entertaining, but not so much. Whereas this, actually having hyper realistic humanoid robots that play soccer against each other and are actually playing soccer well, I find that actually has value to it. I think that if you can sit down and watch, it doesn't matter. You know, whoever is playing the game, as long as they're very good at it, then I think that people will happily watch and cheer people on.
Okay, so well, cheer the robots on. Here's the big question though: is do you think a robot can fake an injury as well as a soccer player can?
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean,
That's when I'll buy it, Chris. That's when I'm buying in. When you can see
yeah.
a robot fake an injury, like the World Cup folks do.
Robots doing old time hockey. You know,
Yeah,
when they start having aluminum strapped across their knuckles.
yeah,
Then,
Rock'em Sock'em style. See, this is good.
yeah.
See what we're doing here? We're brainstorming. I hope somebody's taking notes of this. This is great stuff. Pretty exciting. Is there any other sport that you would like to see robots do?
Ah,
Because I think extreme sports would be really cool. I mean, but I don't
yes.
know if it gets like. But this is where our dumpster fire mentality has to go. Like, if the robot falls or gets like, it has to get obliterated, broken.
I think that you just take something that seems innocuous and then allow the fact that you can kind of ramp it up in extreme so that robots aren't going to hurt each other. So if it was some sort of trampoline sport,
Oh, see, that's fun.
yeah, where
Gymnastics.
the robots can do the kind of things that we can't do, then I think that would be really cool.
All right. ChrisAbel.com, KRISABEL. Watch for Chris on Twitter too, and videos on YouTube. Great way to get connected, Chris. Thank you, my friend.
All right, take care, guys.
Shane Hewitt and the Night Shift every single Tuesday. Chris brings some of the new tech and all the nerdy things that we love to hear about.